The dirty secret about low libido that nobody's talking about, that for 75% of women doesn't actually exist. Hi, I am Erin, your favorite sex therapist, and I want to talk to you about something that so many women struggle with, but rarely talk about. And it's that feeling when your partner gives you the look, and all you can think is, oh God, please no, not tonight. I can't do this again. I'm not in the mood. Ugh, right? If you have ever wondered what is wrong with your libido, or worse, felt broken because it's not showing up how you want it to, and if you'd rather like fold the laundry and do the dishes than deal with the stress and the guilt that happen when your husband wants to get it on, this is for you today. Because here is the truth bomb. You probably don't have a low libido problem. You have a pleasure problem. Yeah. Let me ask you something. Would you keep going back to a restaurant where the food was like pretty bland, not very good, doesn't have a lot of flavor? The service was rushed and chaotic, and you left just feeling like overall unsatisfied every time? No, of course you wouldn't. But you beat yourself up for not wanting to have sex when that sex is all about the destination and not about the journey. It's missing the right kind of build up for you and moving way too fast. It's not actually pleasurable for your body or hitting your arousal triggers. And it's competing with your never ending to do list. You get stuck in your head and you can't get in your body. I mean, yeah, of course that's no fun for you. Because here is what nobody tells you. Women who want sex regularly are women who experience pleasure regularly. It is that simple. Think about it. Your body is amazing. It's designed to want things that feel good and avoid things that don't. Right? That's not a dysfunction. That is smart design. So when sex feels like one more chore on your to-do list, your body's actually responding in a perfectly normal manner, right? To an experience that isn't providing enough pleasure. We don't want to do things that stress us out. We don't want to do things that aren't fun, right? We don't want to do things that cause all sorts of stress and guilt. So it makes sense that your body's responding in this way. So let's get real about female arousal for a second. Because most of us have been told this story that arousal should be instant, that your body should just be ready when your brain has decided it's time. But that's not how most women's bodies work. For the majority of us, for about 75% of women, desire is responsive. It's not spontaneous. That means that you need something pleasurable to happen first so that your body can respond to it. Your body needs to feel enticed. It needs to have some fun first, and then the system can kick on. It's like trying to take your car for a drive without turning the key. You can make all the right, like, zoom and scream. You can make all the right noises, right? Pretend, but the engine needs to be running for that car to actually go anywhere. But most couples are approaching this problem totally backward, right? Because we think that that's how we should go about fixing this, because nobody ever teaches us how to do this, right? We go about it backward and assume that desire should come first. And we rush through or skip the pleasure building anticipation phase, or we move to that main event too quickly. And then we wonder why she's never in the mood, why I'm never in the mood. The real problem is that you're not experiencing enough pleasure to activate your desire system. So, what's really going on in there, right? What's really going on in your body when you're not in the mood? When you don't feel interest and pleasure is missing, a couple of key things happen. Number one, your body doesn't release the hormones that you need for arousal to physically kick on the system. Number two, your nervous system stays in alert mode instead of relaxation mode. So you can't like sit into that and stay present. Number three, physical tension literally blocks blood flow to areas that you need it. So it's not as enjoyable. Your body doesn't lubricate in the same way. You don't have the same sensations that you would. And number four, and one of the biggest ones that I hear from women, is that the experience becomes performative. rather than pleasurable. You put on the show, you go through the motions. You don't want your partner to feel unloved or rejected. And here's the real kicker in all this. The less pleasure you experience, the less you want to do it again, which means fewer opportunities for you to actually experience the pleasure. And then the negative feedback cycle kicks on, where the more you try to want it, the less you actually do. And we've all, if anybody, if you've been there, I've been there, you know what that feels like and how frustrating and hopeful or hopeless that can feel when you want to feel hopeful about this. This is why so many women find themselves coming up with excuses or pulling away from touch, right? There's this expectation now. It has nothing to do with how much you love your partner, and it has nothing to do with there being anything wrong with you. It's that your body has learned that sex equals work without reward. That's not your fault. And more importantly, it's totally fixable. So what can you actually do about it? Well, let me give you, there's so many things you can do, but let me give you two practical tips that you can try this week because I want you to try them out and see how they feel. So tip number one, I call the pleasure inventory. So take 5 minutes to write down everything that feels physically good to you, both in and outside the bedroom. Get really specific. What kinds of touch do you actually enjoy? Massage, cuddle, kisses, whatever. Okay? What sensations actually bring you pleasure? How sweet do you like your coffee? What fabrics are the most comfortable on your skin? What water temperature do you like your showers at? How does it feel to have that big old morning stretch? Everything. Write it all down. And then I want you to take a couple of seconds and circle 2 or 3 to pause in. The next time you take a sip of your coffee, pause and notice that first sip and how good it tastes. The aroma of it, how warm the mug is in your hands. The next time you're in a shower, pause and be like, God, this water feels so good. Massaging my neck, running down my back. It's so nice and warm in here. My body wash smells amazing. Pause in it. That's an important part of this because many women realize that they've been going through the motions without actually pausing to know what feels good for them. Right? How many times has your partner asked you what you want to do in the bed to make it better for you? And you're like, I don't even know. This is a start in that. And if you're thinking, well, I don't even know what I do like, I don't even know what's coming up for me in this, that's totally normal, right? Start with non-sexual things because that can feel like less pressure. Do you like having your hair played with? Do you like having your back scratched, your shoulders massaged? Right? It doesn't matter what it is. It matters that you cue into what you enjoy. And this inventory can sound really simple, but it actually has a huge shifting effect because all of these sensations become your roadmap back to pleasure. Right? Now, tip number two, I call the 20-minute rule. And this is a game changer that so many of my clients have sworn by. So you implement a 20-minute rule where you have to focus just on foreplay for 20 minutes before any penetration happens, before sex, right? This means spending at least 20 minutes focused just on sensation and pleasure, and it takes you out of that goal-oriented view that we tend to focus on during sex. During these 20 minutes, there's no expectation of where it'll lead. The focus is only on what feels good in the moment. You communicate what you enjoy so that your partner can do more of it because they're not a mind reader. And the more you ask for, the more they'll do it. Right? And you work to just stay present with the sensations. Just feel. That's the goal. Not think about what's coming next. Not worried about what you're doing or not doing, right? Just feel. This simple rule changes everything because it gives your body time to move from a neutral or even sometimes a negative state into genuine arousal through pleasure. And fun fact, most women need about 20 to 30 minutes for the system to turn on because we talked about a second ago, right? You need something fun and enjoyable to happen first for your body to respond to it. So you need 20 to 30 minutes for the system to turn on so you actually enjoy sex. So slow down and savor. So try these two techniques this week and notice what changes for you. Pay attention to how your body responds when pleasure becomes the focus rather than just like an afterthought or something that you're like not even thinking about. And if you're listening to this and you're thinking, well, this sounds great, Erinn, but my situation is way more complicated. You are not alone. When we get stuck in that negative feedback loop, it can feel really difficult to break the pattern. The pleasure problem is just one piece of the puzzle for a lot of women. So if that's you, reach out to me because you don't have to keep spinning your wheels and doing this alone. I'd argue that's the worst way to go about this because that's where we get stuck in that negative feedback loop even more. And the more you try, the less results you actually see. And then you start to think maybe it is just you when it's not you. You just need to go about this in a different way. Because at the end of the day, you deserve a love life that feels good and connective and pleasurable and isn't just one more thing on your never-ending to-do list. There's enough shit on that list. You don't need to add sex onto that list, right? So go try these techniques out, see how they feel. Remember that pleasure is the only focus in them, and I'll see you next time.